Simon Bush, congratulations on your appointment. You're certainly no stranger to the AIIA. What experience do you bring to the role?
Thanks, Joe. Look, I've had a long and diverse career over the last 30 plus years. That makes me sound quite old now. Last 3 years I've been at the AIIA, so I'm well known to members and to the broader community in terms of my background at the AIIA heading up policy and advocacy. But I also bring over a decade of experience heading up a film-related industry association and running my own technology and consulting business, and before that working for a major multinational consulting business. So I bring all of those experiences into this new role as CEO of the AIIA. I'm really looking forward to it.
How would you describe your style? What can the membership expect from Simon Bush?
Look, it's consultative. I have to work with, in a membership-based organisation, you have to actually consult, and we have the structures and processes to do that. We've been around since 1978, so we've got very mature governance processes, committees and councils, which is a fantastic organisational structure for success. My door is always open, Joe, always open, always has been and always will be. At the end of the day, if we don't provide that value to members, then we're not doing our job.
You've taken over from Ron Gauci. What are your priorities now?
Ron has left the organisation in great shape, but new CEO brings a new approach, brings their collective experiences to the role. But essentially I'll take a collaborative approach working with the members to understand their priorities and then set that vision, and then I'll provide that leadership and execution.
What particular challenges are facing the sector?
Look, the challenges are immense. The economy is now digitised. Government is looking to respond to those in a way of tech regulation. We're seeing that in cybersecurity, you're seeing that in AI, you're seeing that right across the economy. And the AIIA's job is to lead those debates, provide that thought leadership, that regulatory approach that suits our members and ensures that we as a country, we lead and we don't follow.
So do you have a to-do list, and is there any urgency to your objectives?
The Privacy Act review and some of those critical policy matters are here right now in Australia. The data security issues, critical infrastructure, systems of national significance legislations being implemented. We're seeing a plethora of governments looking at different policy levers, regulatory levers for the tech sector. So it is a very active space, and the AIIA has been leading these issues for many, many years. And there's huge challenges, but also huge opportunities for our sector.
So we're doing this interview here in Canberra. Do you have the ear of government?
Yes. We've been around a long time. We operate at a very strategic and senior level. We work with both sides of politics and government, which you have to do to be successful. We've shaped government policies and strategies in relation to AI, in relation to quantum, in relation to putting billions of dollars back into R&D funding. We've had some fantastic successes shaping critical industries, legislation around cybersecurity. The list goes on. We'll continue to need to shape and assist governments in helping them to understand the complexity that does exist as our economy becomes digitised.
There are suggestions that first-party data is the future, and that signifies a new style of relationship between the customer and the marketer. Do you see it that way?
We need to ensure that the cookies and the use of data provides a better citizen experience. Citizens will accept and users will accept the use of their data if they get a better outcome from it and they get a better experience. And that's what you get from first person cookies.
So what is the AIIA doing to help support its membership through such a disruptive period of the convergence of cloud technology and privacy regulation?
The tech industry is leading these debates when it comes to privacy and user experience and ensuring they have the trust of the citizen, but also the user in a commercial sense. And this is playing out very actively at the moment. There's many examples of breaches of data and privacy and trust that go on every month and every year. It is a very, very topical and important issue to get right.
So Simon, you mentioned that data is in fact a liability. Could you elaborate on that?
Data has been considered with the birth of the internet as digital gold, if you like. It's the oil rush of the 21st century. I think that there's been a shift though around citizens' expectations, and you can consume and acquire so much data. There's an attitude now that why are you collecting that data? Is it data for good? How are you securing that data? And now there's a requirement on governments to treat that as a liability now. It should be treated as a liability. So if that data gets breached or gets lost, you have poor governance control, poor culture within your organisation, you're going to have to deal with that through penalties, but also erosion of citizen trust and consumer trust in your brand. There is a great relationship, and it's already been established between the Australian Cybersecurity Centre, the Australian Signals Directorate, and industry, starting off with critical infrastructure and the systems of national significance and the new legislation and framework around that, but that needs to cascade through the economy down to SMEs. So I think the big missing piece is to make sure there's resilience and cyber awareness amongst our SME community.
For many years now, it's been said that Australia doesn't have the digital skills to bridge the technology gap. Is enough being done?
Digital skills is a huge shortage. It's been around for a decade or longer, and it's been exacerbated through COVID and coming out of COVID, through the borders being shut, and global demand for job skills, for digital skills. We know that between now and 2030, there'll be 30 million shortfall of jobs globally for digital skills. So the challenge is a global one, not just an Australian one. We need to do a lot more.
So given that the threats are so great, do you sleep well at night?
Look, I do. I mean, the tech industry is leading the charge when it comes to cybersecurity and providing those controls and resilience across the economy. The opportunity and the challenge is to make sure that all those other organisations across the economy use the tools that are available and bring in that cultural change and organisational change.
Where does sustainability sit on your priority list?
It is a priority for our members, and it's a priority for the AIIA. I had the pleasure of leading a government and trade delegation to the US in May this year, and what became really apparent was the amount of time, effort, investment the tech companies are making around sustainability and carbon zero goals. And in fact, recently in Canberra, we held a major event around tech and sustainability that the AIIA ran. It just demonstrates that the industry is leading the economy around towards carbon zero goals. So we're doing a lot. Perhaps people don't know about it. We need to do more to get that voice out.
Do digital technologies really have that much to offer to make our businesses and our nation's economy more sustainable?
Well, the first thing, there's an old adage, if you can't measure it, then you can't report on it, and you can't do anything about it. So the first thing is that the digital tools actually measure what companies are doing and then can report on it. So that's the first thing, that transparency. Digital tools provide that, but digital and innovation can actually drive the carbon goals of economies, including Australia. What we're seeing is the evolution of companies embracing the cloud. These cloud companies, whether they be data centres, which are heavy users of energy and water, right through to software as a service companies, they're all embracing those carbon zero goals.
Where do you see the biggest possible contribution to sustainability from digital technologies?
Look, I think it's a combination. I don't think there's one silver bullet that you could say this is going to drive goals to net zero 2050. I think it's across the board. Energy is obviously a major area where technology is coming to support the grid, support renewable expansion, support the load management. So technology is playing a huge role right there at the moment. But then as every company and every organisation needs to use cloud-based infrastructure, that side of the digital economy needs to invest and ensure that it's efficient, and they're doing that.
Thank you, Simon Bush.